just continue going. See, I think that type of attitude, is like reflective of somebody who has like is despondent and in despair or not courageous. So, part of like my art project, I like Clown House in the sense that like I've created this third party network of YouTube videos of all these people on this app. Because in a way, you are not you are everyone you interact with and communicate with. So, to me, I've like mirrored all my activity on this app. So I'm not me. I am you in a way.
All communication is projection. So if somebody says you're gonna die alone, that means they're afraid that they're gonna die alone. If somebody says you're a piece of shit, that means that they're afraid that they're a piece of shit. If somebody says you're ugly, that means they're afraid that they're ugly. If they see what a bald, shiny bald head, they're afraid of the day that they themselves will once be bald. And that's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So what, did Pepe lose his mind at you and Issa? Did he go crazy and what happened?
No, I was just kind of making fun of Pepe and then talking about, my YouTube accounts and Instagram accounts. But yeah, I'm like, I'm getting very close. I think to ending my recording project on this app. I'm
How long have you been doing it?
since 2020, so 5 years.
Wow. I'm a little paranoid that I might be caught out on that because obviously I live in the UK and we have no free speech. But whatever,
No,
somebody would have to go digging.
no one's gonna dig through 60,000 videos.
Is it 60,000?
I think if you add up all the YouTubes and all the Instagram accounts, it's somewhere close to like, you know, probably 40,000 videos.
Yeah, I just used AI to sort through them and get all the incriminating stuff on the people I don't like on this app.
AI is pretty amazing. I've been asking Grok to do a comparative analysis on voting record and Open Secrets lobbying records, and it's amazing. But it can like cross compare, whatever is in Google and do like a comparative analysis and do matching. So it's like really a huge. And what's amazing about X is because you can integrate it into your profile. It's like immediate deployment of content and propaganda or counter argument information. So it's amazing how by having it in the platform and how you can tag people, like X is really a different type of platform compared to Facebook or Instagram. It's like it's more it's faster and more easily accessible as opposed to other platforms. X is very dynamic now. I mean, it's I think valued at
Do you
150
make it
dollars.
talk to you in Ebonics?
No, I don't do that. I can come to Clown House to
Well, you
listen to
can,
Ebonics.
that's a possibility.
I can come to Clown House and listen to Ebonics any day of the week, any hour of the week. This is a Ebonic colonic. This app is an Ebonic colonic. But what I'd like to do is get back to reading books because if I just read the Tanya for a couple minutes, I realize how much time I'm wasting here and listening to all these conversations. So I really do want to like stop the recordings and get back to like recording books so I can, thrive and prosper and survive because just listening to people have random conversations, it's not programmatic, it's not intelligent, and I think it creates brain rot. So I would, as a warning, I would encourage everyone here to spend like maybe 10 minutes reading a book on this app as opposed to spending countless hours having random, meaningless, and when I say meaningless, I mean that like the conversations are one word at a time. It's not like sitting in a classroom and getting a lecture and a direct transmission of information. You are not doing information like downloading. You're like nothing is happening here. I mean, and I think that's why to me it makes interesting content to film, but nonetheless, I know that it's not a good usage of my time. That's all I'm saying. Or I've maxed out the recordings.
The one thing that I have got better at not getting triggered when people say stupid shit. The other day, I was with somebody, I won't elaborate, it was somebody who I don't know very well. They said something incredibly stupid, I won't elaborate, it doesn't really matter. But they said something that was very stupid, and in the past I would have definitely wanted to tell them that was the dumbest shit I've ever heard, and here's why you're a fucking moron. And I didn't say anything. I just said, oh, interesting. Uh-huh. And that was it. And I was actually proud of myself because walking away from that interaction, I thought, yeah, you know, I didn't need to respond to that. That was stupid. If I had responded, I would have taken the bait, and then I would have been the stupid one. I would have become a self-roaster. And so I just kind of said, oh, that's interesting. And I don't think that I would have had that muscle. I didn't have that the emotional capacity to do that. 5 or 10 years ago, I definitely did. I wasn't strong enough to do that.
Hey, Zach.
What's up, you fucking faggot? Sorry.
Crazy.
I'm sorry. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
It's okay. I just wanna contribute though, because oh my god, I'm still laughing from that, Zach. But anyway, I just wanna contribute because I've heard some I guess unfortunate things during this room here. So I think that what's going on both sides of this conflict is very unfortunate. Um, I'm honestly not sure if the claims of the Gazans being starved is true or not, but I think it's hard to deny that people, like not even on just like one side, like I'm not even just saying like the Palestinians are starving or the Israelis are like trying to be like one side here. I'm just trying to say I think both sides here are suffering, and I think it's not harmful to um, your personal narrative or whatever. If people would just acknowledge, that I think that it could be true at the same time that what Hamas is doing by not returning their hostages is harming their people. Wait, can you hear me? I put red bar. Um, anyway,
I can hear
I
you,
just
but
want to
I
say,
haven't.
well, I think it could also, I think it's also true, can also be true. Israel could be suffering from scope creep because even people in the government have been saying like
because Hamas is
I'm not falling for any Hamas propaganda.
no, not you personally, but collectively,
Okay.
The Catholic Church has been not supporting the Jewish people as much as they should. Like back in the day, Catholics used to fight crusades against Islam. Now they are
They
enabling
do.
it. The thing is, Catholics hate Israel. They hate Israel.
Well, that's cool, but I also just want to call out Julian.
That's not true.
Hey, Julian, I just want to call you out and say you support murder, and you may have some cognitive distortion
That's not
disorder.
true.
Are you serious? You love Mangione, boy. You support Mangione for murdering that healthcare executive. The CEO of United Healthcare.
Mangione, Julian. Is this true, Julian?
That's a different subject.
That's very stupid, Julian. I heard somebody the other day said we need the Luigi mindset when it comes to Gaza. What do you think that means, Dr. Julian? What do you think the Luigi mindset when it comes to Gaza means?
I have no clue.
I think we need to have the Luigi mindset when it comes to Puerto Ricans.
Yeah, Julian, don't come in here and lecture anybody. You literally support someone that murdered somebody in the streets. So until you can justify your belief with regards to Mangione, everything you say to me is illegitimate. And I don't respect you. I hate to break that to you, young man, but I do not respect you.
Could you be a little less sort of confrontational? Judgmental? Norm, by the way, you live in New York, right? Yeah, much of the time, some of the time. So, like, aren't you very concerned with that Mohammed Momdani person? Yeah. Because to me it looks like he will turn New York the way that Pakistani Sadiq Khan turned London into a caliphate. And this Momdani person, he's a Shia, 12 Imamer. They believe
He's not Shia.
Islamist. He is Shia.
He's Shiite.
Which is the same. Oh my god. You're saying he's not a Shiite? Is that what you're saying? Julian?
Adjective. Well, I heard multiple things around him. I heard he's like Sufi or like Shiite or whatever. But yeah.
So Julian, just to clarify, you understand that Shia and Shiite are this thing? A Shiite is a follower of Shia Islam. The two types are not Shia and Shiite. The two types are Shia and Sunniite. I don't know if they use that term, Sunniite. But that's Sunni and Shia. And Norm, of course, you know the difference between the Sunni and the Shia. Yes. The Sunni have a very Sunni disposition, while the Shia are totally full of Shia. And the Shia, as well as Sunnis, also waiting for them, but it's more for Shia belief system. They're waiting for this guy called Imam al-Mahdi, which they believe is this Islamic end-time savior. And these Muslims believe in order to bring the Mahdi, they need to spread global chaos. Because when there's global chaos, they believe that the Mahdi will emerge and bring and establish world peace by enforcing Sharia law. Like, this is the Iranian regime that is exporting global chaos because they believe that will usher in the end times. Julian is saying in the comment section he is a Shia Muslim and identifies with the 12th branch. Like, this is very, very concerning. This is Mohammed Momdani type. Because this Shia belief system thinks in order to bring their Mahdi, their Messiah, they need to spread global chaos. That's what the Iranian regime is doing. And then Sunnis also are waiting for the Mahdi. Tommy as New York mayor?
Well, I'm actually in New York City, and I didn't vote for him, though.
Like, would you say if he becomes mayor, that will be an improvement, or do you think New York will become the London, like Muslim mayor London type of city?
Well, I don't support his policies generally. I do think he has some unfortunate policies regarding transportation, housing, and the grocery stores. And I just generally don't support leftists like him because after seeing the destructive policies of Mayor Bloomberg, I support more people like I guess Eric Adams, but I do think that he has some good ideas such as public child care, for example, and cracking down on um
When is that a mayor's job? Because the municipality, county, having to vote for that?
um I guess, but I think it's good that the mayor, potential mayor, does support no cost childcare because childcare is getting pretty expensive. And yeah, I do think that some of his labor policies are pretty decent. I mean, I don't so I just generally don't support him, but I do think he has some good policies. So I don't think it may and he was marching for the trans people during the LGBT parade, so I don't think he's
That was
gonna
Takia.
turn in.
That was full on Takia. He is spreading in the New York City mosque, spreading the Muslim interest. He's not going into the mosques and preaching things about Islam or that the Muslim community needs to be accepting of vulnerable communities. He's going into mosque preaching the Muslim interest. That's being two-faced, having a double agenda. Because at one point in the mosque, he's making very sure that he will make Muslims the face of City Hall and make Muslims the face of New York City, basically prioritizing them. Like that is like incompatible with LGBT rights. Like look at like wasn't there this full Muslim city council somewhere in Detroit or Michigan or Minneapolis, and then that Democratic, so a liberal or moderate, whatever, city council full of Muslims, when they took power, they targeted the LGBT community. They banned LGBT people. That was Sharia law. No, and even like I know a lot of LGBT people support him, which I don't understand, because there's other options in that mayoral election too. But like some of these queers for Palestine, maybe they need to wake up by learning the hard way, by learning the hard lesson, like the people in London did. The people in London only started to open their eyes once a Pakistani radical Muslim became mayor. Not sure if you know the situation in London with that Muslim mayor.
Julian, what is your take on this
just have to say I'm in London 5 times a year, and it's a beautiful city. It's not dangerous, and I don't notice that there's a Muslim there. I make me feel like I'm in England. I don't feel like I'm in some kind of a Muslim environment. I don't really have any objection to Muslim people, really. But I don't feel. What part of London? Because London is truly a beautiful city. It's more amazing city. I like. Are you around the river? I like Notting Hill. I like Little London. I like Shoreditch. Chelsea. I haven't hung out. I mean, those are where I usually stay. And I stay in the Cotswolds. I love. Forget what it's called. The nickname is Tippy. Anyway, I stay in the Cotswolds. I stay with
Shoreditch is pretty.
Shoreditch is fun. But like, London is a huge, huge
food at least eats greens, okay? This is from every bite being wrapped in a tortilla. I love tortillas, but you can't be wrapping all your food in it.
Respectfully, Miss, wait, hold on. Respectfully, Miss Shirley, soon to be Mayhem. Listen, I feel very strongly at Soul Food is a movie that actually embodied a certain type of culture. I'm not specifically speaking to the actual food. Does that make sense?
Yes, Adam, but I mean, we served soul food on, just so you know, soul food was served at the table I was raised on, and my family wasn't overweight.
Mine too, and my family was definitely not overweight. It's one of those things, moderation. Have you ever heard of the turkey trot?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like a 5K run. My dad and I used to do that before Thanksgiving dinner. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, people don't have a healthy attitude towards fitness in a way that is acceptable in light of the expenditures that America is spending on fatness.
Adam, I'm gonna, my comment to this is, back when I ate soul food, once a week I had fried chicken, chicken fried steak. These were regulars. There was a potato on the table every day, whether it was mashed or fried. But here's the deal. Now, people are eating food with preservatives, and I solely and absolutely believe that the chemicals, the natural flavors, they're not telling you what they are, that is behind most obesity in this country. And it used to, when I was in high school, there were 2 girls in the school that were overweight, and they were eating Doritos, and the rest of us were eating that soul food, but we were not eating preservatives. I'm convinced that that's a major part. It's not just soul food.
Yeah, so I'm refusing to believe that, and this is what I'm saying. Shirley, it's kind of one of those things where people have access to the same inventory and the same food source, and these same people, based on different activities, are not necessarily burdened in the same way of having effective overweight. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, it's one of those things. Like, I grew up in a house where, like, my son's overweight. Like, very much so overweight. We grew up eating the same damn food.
Well, to your point, I could eat. I was at the table and I didn't eat the biscuits, and my brothers ate the biscuits. Okay, I got you.
Hey, for the record, Shirley, I would eat your biscuit.
Oh, honey, that's why you're one of my favorites, because you talk sassy to me. Just saying. It's kind of fun when you're like the grandmother and somebody treats you like you might be attractive. I mic up on that.
Oh, Miss Shirley, you're gonna have some competition. Monica just entered the room.
Listen, my husband's gonna live to be 100, and Mojo needs a wife. But I adore him.
Yeah, well, welcome to the room, Monica. The most attractive, the most intelligent, the kindest, the classiest woman on all of Clubhouse. Welcome to the room, Monica.
Hey, I have a quick question because I remember me and Adams did a similar room like this a couple months ago. So apparently, I guess that room is known for its degeneracy, right? So I'm trying to understand what that room, especially with what went down last night. I guess I don't know if there was other things that went on, but where do cats get off in thinking that it's okay that it's okay for an individual or multiple individuals to threaten sexual violence towards another person's family member? And then at the same time, that same individual threatens to do bodily harm with them. And then that person that retaliates that way is somehow, right, the bad guy. I'm trying to understand where In what world is that fucking acceptable? But that shit goes on.
Can you give us a more specific example?
So basically, what I'm saying is that last night there's this cat in there, and there's multiple cats that do this shit. So I go up in there and just have conversations, or at least try to. So when I was up in there was a guy named Jacobus, and this same individual said he was going to come on my mother or something like that, or do some basically threatened sexual assault. And I said, listen, if you pull something like that, you're gonna get your head blown off, right? And then all other people up in the room found what I said to be appalling, but don't find what he says to be appalling in that same back and forth. The thing is that these people, I don't understand where their mindset is at. But
They're probably Muslims. Go ahead.
Well, could be, but I just know that that's what goes on in that fucking room, right? Shit like that goes on in that room constantly. For whatever reason, the mods they listen to the shit, but then think that when I say this shit, or if someone else hears something like that is said to them, and they say the same shit, they attack those particular people, but don't get on the people that say kind of shit.
Yeah, no. This happens more than this. There's a guy by the name of Tiger who threatened to rape Kelly, and then when we would bring him to the stage, he would double down and acknowledge that yes, he said that, and that he still feels that way. So there's definitely a desire amongst some of these people. They're very rapey. The question is why do the mods condone rape? But then if you say that you're going to do something to the rapist, then all of a sudden that's where they draw the line, basically.
Yeah, no, and it's funny because I saw this room title, because I was already thinking about doing a room like that to ask, why does chillism condone sexually degenerate behavior like that? And I'm not even talking about being homosexual or anything like that, but just that kind of behavior. And of course, amongst other things that you guys are speaking on in this room, like that room is just, I don't know, man. It's like it's a lot of weird shit, and I don't understand with Nathan, like how he doesn't understand how detrimental that could be to him and to people up in that room. You know what I'm saying? Because things can get real, over a fucking audio app or the internet in general. I'm not saying that I'm going to actually go up and do something, but I'm just saying shit like that is the reason why there's problems in this country, because of stupid shit like that.
Yeah, well, stuff can transfer from the app off the app, and the people that are creating an environment for that, I think that they want that. I think that might even be their goal. Why else would it be that in those rooms they would allow, they'll allow people to shout the N-word over and over and over again, and that's a word that can trigger some people to pull up, and for them to allow that, they
guess there's some other shit going on in that room now that people are starting to observe. So, yeah, sad to say that.
Yeah. Well, let's talk to Monica. What do you got to say, Queen?
I think that the house rules of Clubhouse, without chillism are unique. There's very few houses that I know of have at least a few rules that remain mostly consistent and consistent across whoever mods those spaces too. And the joke about men not being allowed to call women bitches unless they're homosexuals, it's because men default to the word bitch for women so often that it's like a cognitive dissonance IQ test to see what other names they can call women aside from bitch. And then they get gooed for 5 minutes or 10 minutes and then they get brought back up.
So, Monica, let me ask you this. Why do they allow people to call people N-word or kid?
Right, it's decent. Well, the theory is it's a mostly free-ish speech space, and they can acknowledge, allow it, and then you get to choose, right? Can you tolerate naughty words being spoken, or you can't? And if you can't, you use it quietly. I actually think there are worse things than calling women bitches and cunts. I think threatening to dox people on the app, that's a shitty thing to do. I think threats of violence that I hear very often from the man who's allowed in chillism and white belts, who has a lot to criticize about white belts and chillism just now, that's a lot. But, to each his own.
Yeah. What about the lack of moderation when you have the stupidest people on the app that go into a 45-minute debate about Hegel, for example, and neither of them have even read Hegel. Like guys like Concrete and Ike that don't read source material hold a debate. Basically, they're speaking like 10-year-old kids, and the moderators just sit back and allow this sound wall to take place with no moderation whatsoever. And then when somebody with an ounce of common sense gets on the stage to expose that neither of them, and they both admitted this, by the way, that neither of them have ever read Hegel. They decided to have a 45-minute debate. Why would anybody want to moderate something like that and allow people that have never read the source material to just go off for 45 minutes? Why would that happen?
Because they have the power to do so. It's white belts and chillism. Just like you have the power to mod this room as you wish, you're the king of your castle in the muff. And
You're the queen, respectfully.
Not really. But we did have a conversation about, okay, so people who create rooms get control of the rooms. And it's interesting to me how many people have a problem with the room when they have so much power themselves. They can object to the room, they can throw a temper tantrum in the chat, and you know as well as I do, they've got some chat warriors in here or thumb and finger fussing all over your rooms, and then they can leave quietly. I don't think, based on all the A rooms I've ever been in, that chillism white belt is the most egregious when it comes to the crap that gets thrown on Clubhouse. It's an audio app. People have been very cruel on this audio app.
So Monica, let me ask you this: if you were queen for a day and you were to moderate a space and there's people of diverse backgrounds, like what would your rule be about if somebody repeatedly, not just squeezing it in poetically, but repeatedly using the N-word and directing it towards people that are in the room? How would you feel about that?
If I create the room, Roger, it doesn't happen because
Amazing.
As you called me quite correctly on it, what is it? What did Roland Fryer say? I have a talent for encouraging civil discussion. And if I don't get the civil discussion, like Andrew and that other guy tried to troll my room about the crime of being white, I enforce my rules. And so, it's the room creator, I think, that has control over the quality of the room.
Sure. And so in a room where you're critiquing the moderation of another room, do you think it's fair for me to critique people that would allow people on the stage that literally just interrupt people by calling them the N-word? Do you think that the quote unquote defenders of free speech over there are in the right, or do you think that I might have a point that's pretty irresponsible?
I don't. The code of conduct in White Belts and Chillism is we don't allow doxing or credible threats of violence. So
But what about calling someone the N-word? You realize that could lead to real world violence, correct?
I've been called the N-word in White Belts and Chillism.
But you think that if you had the ability to amend their rules, would you like for example, nobody can say that word in here. If they do, they get removed immediately. And matter of fact, no matter who does it. In fact, even people that that
Have
claim,
the pass?
even people that claim that I've taken this word back. Like we have a zero tolerance policy on people saying it, whether it's in the chat or okay. And so I'm asking you, if you had your preference, would you rather be in a room where that kind of language is not allowed, or where that kind of language is allowed?
When I have my rooms that I have control over, I don't allow it.
And do you prefer to be in rooms where it's allowed or disallowed?
Well, so you remember Lenny Bruce? Didn't we have this discussion before with about Lenny Bruce?
I like Lenny Bruce, and I like the fact.
You know where I'm going with that?
I like the fact that you can push the envelopes of free speech. I think I do it as much as anybody on this app.
I think that's fair.
That being said, even me, who believes I'm not a free speech absolutist, because I do believe that there's slander and defamation and things that can take place. There's also a concept of fighting words. I would say that especially somebody like myself that grew up in an area that had many black people, I know that saying that word is a fighting word, because where I come from, if people are saying, especially if they're saying it to people they don't know, that's not just going to be a fight. That is going to be an ass whooping. And so it's either people that have never been in a fist fight that don't understand real world consequences for these types of things, or it's people that do and they want the violence. And so I guess my question again would be, in particular to that word, do you think it would be a good idea to just set a rule that we're not going to say that?
Roger, I'm still puzzled by this conversation, and I'm not being facetious or sarcastic or anything, I promise you. Like, how can I control the ugliness
I'm not
of
asking
others
you to control it. I'm asking you to control yourself. You have freedom of association, and there are rooms on this app where people are allowed to say it, and rooms on this app where people are not allowed to say that. My question is, why did you choose to associate with the people that freely let that word roll across their tongue?
Because I don't think saying a word is worse than being a rapist. I don't think saying a word
I'll grant you
is
that.
worse than being a pedophile. I don't believe a word is worse than human trafficking on Craigslist. I don't believe a word.
No disagreement there. There are worse things. There are worse things than saying those words. That being said, it's a social audio app, and the likelihood of somebody getting raped on the stage is actually actually on the stage, it's impossible. The likelihood of people saying something that could lead to real world violence, that's highly more likely. And when you start looking at, like, if I were to make a list of 10 things that people could say that would cause real world violence, I would just say that on my list, that word would be included in the top 10 things that would be most likely to lead to real world violence. Is that wrong? Do you disagree with that?
I just have trouble believing that words are violent. Words can be ugly.
I don't believe words are violence. I'm actually critical of people that make that comment. What I would say though is that there are words that can lead to violence, but more importantly, if you're trying to send an invite out to the world to say, hey, here's a place where people can get together, freely express their differences, and talk about their ideas, wouldn't it be a good idea to make sure that you don't turn people off right at the get-go by allowing the type of language that derails a conversation? And that would be one of the terms that I think does precisely that.
Which is why you're clever enough not to have it allowed in your rooms. Good talk.
Amazing. Okay. All right, Monica. Well, thanks for
Disappointing you. I know.
Well, listen. As JB would say, you're standing on your square. So there's that.
Yeah, disappointed that you did that too. All right. Have a great room.
Wait, Monica, let me ask you a question. I mean, Roger's asking you some pretty simple questions that could just be answered with a simple yes or no. Like, okay, never mind.
Lordness, you're one of the other anarchists on the stage. What do you say?
So what happened with the situation first?
Which situation are you talking about?
With the title going, I'm confused what happened with the situation.
Which situation?
No, I mean there's a bunch of situations that happen, so I'm a little bit confused on what's the situation for this room.
Yeah. So the situation for this room was I created a room with this title, largely in response to the stupidity that happens in that other room. We could talk about the 45-minute debate about Hegel between two people that had never read Hegel. That was pretty idiotic. We could talk about the fact that there's no moderation, that people are allowed to talk over each other, which makes it very difficult to hold a conversation. We could talk about Bima threatening to dox people. That was an interesting development. Or we could talk about a debate between people on Israel versus Hamas, and the moderator of the room put a poll up because he wanted support, and he lost the debate in his own room by 2/3 of a vote. It's just a collection of the dumbest people on the app, and then a sprinkling of very intelligent people, like Io, for example, will go in there. When Io goes in there, the average IQ jumps a couple points. What's your defense of the room?
I mean, I view it more like a. Do you know Jerry Springer?
No, I never heard of her.
No, that show. Jerry's show,
You mean the mayor of Cincinnati?
No. I forgot the name of this fucking show. It's that old guy that just he's like that main guy. Like he just has a bunch of people join up on the stage and just start talking shit, doing all the insane.
Oh yeah, Geraldo Rivera.
I don't think it sounds like either. But the point is, look, I am a free speech absolutist. Even
what does that mean to you?
There's really no boundaries of what you could say and do.
Could you threaten someone?
You could, but the other person could do something back against it.
So, are you aware that there's laws against threatening people with violence?
Yes, I know.
Okay, so
legally say anything you want to say, right?
Correct.
But you just said that you could. I didn't say I could. I said I'm for it. Oh, so you think we should change the laws and allow people to say whatever they want?
Correct.
What do you think of defamation laws?
I don't know anything about it to really know, to have an opinion on it.
So if I made a claim about you that wasn't true, and people believed it, and it harmed you in a let's say in a monetary fashion, let's say you lost endorsements, contracts, not that you would ever have these, but so let's just say you did. You think people should be able to make up lies about people?
I mean, if they have any proof if they don't have any proof at the end of the day, then they're going to lose it.
Can we go back? Can we go back to this talk show host? Tell me more about him.
I mean, it's like an old show. I don't know. It's just like a really old show that this guy invites around people. It's like Eric Andre mixed with this other guy. Like, it's a very chaotic show.
And it was called.
Let me look at it again.
This is amazing.
Jerry Springer.
Wasn't he the mayor of Cincinnati?
I don't know. I don't know if who he is exactly or anything like that. All I know is a very chaotic, insane show.
Lord,
I mean, it was pretty.
Lord Nuz, I don't know if you're aware of this, but he's Mojo knows who Jerry Springer is, dude. Can you not pick up on that?
I mean, you're expecting me to believe Mojo if I don't know him, so.
Lourdes, let me ask you this. Do you spend much time in chillism?
Here and there. I'm usually just listening in.
Would you call yourself a regular there?
Not on the stage.
What do you prefer, chillism or this Jerry Springer fellow?
Chillism. I mean, plus Jerry Springer. I mean, like, they stopped airing.
If it was still on the air, would you watch it regularly?
No.
Would you identify yourself as an anarchist?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Absolute freedom.
Absolute freedom. Oh, okay. So let's say if in an anarchist society, let's say if we were to transition to that tomorrow, if somebody was murdered, who do you call in case of a murder?
Nobody. You deal with it yourself.
If somebody gets murdered and you call no one?
No, you don't.
So how does the murderer get caught?
They don't.
So you're free to murder people?
I mean, you're free to do a lot of things. You're free to buy any forms of weapons. You're free to run from technology, corporations, control that territory. It's a free-for-all. You're able to do whatever you want without any forms of restriction, and
including killing people.
Again, it's the ideology world of the true, literal free-for-all. Do whatever you want to do, live the life that you want to live.
Okay. Alright, so hold on. I wanna let's try to make this real. Let's say you have a loved one. I don't wanna say mom, dad, sister, brother, or whatever, but you picture the loved one. And let's say something terrible happened to them and they were assaulted. What is the recourse when that happens?
And I could probably do something about it. It's just any forms of evidence I could find on the corpse.
When you weren't there and you don't know who did it, wouldn't it be nice to call someone that can investigate such a crime?
And let them do all the work. No, I'd rather go find the person myself.
So you were an investigator now?
No, I'm just saying I'd rather do whatever it takes to find the person that fucked up one of my founders or friends or whoever I know.
Do you think it'd be wise to outsource this to somebody that's good at investigating, maybe?
In this society, you can't pay people to do it.
Let me ask you this. The transition from a constitutional republic to anarchy, how do you see that going down? How does that transition happen?
There's only two ways of going about this, either through a civil war, which
Lord Nas,
We could get along.
Lord Nas, can I ask you a question? I just want to know what, I like the expression, there's not a speck of dust out of place in the whole universe, implying that everything is perfect just the way it is. What makes you think that you're 100% sure that, your better option is truly, like, just not ridiculous? Because if everything is already perfect, why do you think your new, your ideas are better than what's already happening?
Because people still have problems with it, with your ideas or belief system. And if, let's say, people chose to leave this country, right, where would they go specifically, right? We don't have the technology for space travel, so we're not able to go to other planets to create this type of ideology yet. There's not really any islands that are the size of Russia, China. Not really. So there isn't really any other territory or land that anyone could create their other ideologies.
Wait, can you hold on one second? I want to do another quick diagnostic here. I like to do this in a lot of Mojo's rooms. What is 100 times 1,000, Lord Nas? Again, the question is, what is 100 times 1,000? Thank you.
If you need to take time to go get a calculator, that's fair.
So again, the question, Lord Nas, is what is 100 times 1,000? Can you give us that mental calculation if you can? 100 times 1,000. Can you do that in your head? Because anyways, can you do that, Lord Nas? Do you know what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, what's 100 times 1,000?
What's up there? Echo.
What'd you say?
You got an echo?
Okay, so, I like to point out to people in Clown House that if you've never realized, what a fishing net is, and what a fisherman is, and what fish are, and what a spider is, and what a spider web is, and what a fly is, you have to figure out sooner or later who you are, where you are on this food chain cycle, and why you're on this app having endless conversations with people, who can't even tell you what 100 times 1,000 is. It's just a quick diagnostic.
But what's up with the echo? John.
Are you echoing over there? I'm sorry, I'm not echoing over here.
No, I'm just confused. What's up with the echo? Sound like two phones.
Lordness, have you seen the movie The Purge?
Yeah.
So what do you think of that movie? I mean, it's one of my favorites. I do enjoy the franchise, but it is a little frightening. So what if our government decided to sanction something similar, where there's a period of, once a year, all criminal activity, including murder, robbery, etc., kidnapping and rape were legal? I mean, that's your ideal future, or would you be down?
It's
with
not
that?
going to be like that. I mean, in the beginning, the very, very beginning, it's going to be like that. But over time, people are not going to be killing each other nonstop every fucking day or second or all that. Now, you're going to have disputes. You're going to have problems on land or territory. Different ideologies having conflicts amongst other ideologies. Obviously, that's going to happen. But in the very beginning of this ideology, yes, it's going to be like the Purge. But over time, it's not going to be like that.
Well, why are you so convinced that the murder? I mean, this is a nation of wildlings, right? Why are you convinced? Why do you think that over time the murders would quell? If in the beginning folks could get away with robbery, murder, rape, kidnapping kids, etc., and there's no one to check them, no law and order, just a chaotic free for all, why would they stop?
I mean, well, then, with that hypothetical, then, I guess it would be like a band of cannibals then, at that point. Yeah, those people wouldn't really stop at all, but...
Lord Nas, was the French Revolution anarchy in action? Do you think the French Revolution was anarchy in action? What do you think?
Oh, wait, answer NY's question first. So I mean, there could be some people that could stop, let's say, like a band of cannibals. Could be. Either if they really want to do something about it, or they're paid to do it.
You know, I don't know if you saw the series The Purge, but there's Purge Bus, the blue bus. There's a church a couple blocks away from me. They have about a dozen blue buses. I call them the Purge buses. I'm convinced that the Purge, ground zero of the Purge, is going to start at this church because of the blue Purge buses. So I'll keep you notified in case we need a hero to swoop in and kind of save this community first.
Alright.
We got a new poll
John,
up.
what's your...
Lordness, we got a new poll up. You might like one of the choices.
Which is what?
Look at the poll up above.
There's no poll.
Oh, you haven't updated the app then.
I'm gonna do that right now.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, this was Exhibit A of Chillism Regulars.
So I was in Chillism earlier. Go
May I
ahead.
ask a question? I know I will regret it because
Paula, you may ask a question. Go ahead.
Lourdes, are you basing your thoughts on Mikhail Bakunin, or is that something that you concocted yourself?
He's downloading the app.
Alright, this is new. Alright, let's see.
So before he answers that and answers the survey question, Mojo, I announced to the Chillism Room earlier today that tomorrow we will be live streaming them and providing, live play-by-play feedback and doing analysis of them live. So I'm hoping that by trying to organize the community organizers, we'll actually get them to stand at attention and do some, maybe thought-provoking conversations. They'll be more academic, they'll be more professional. And so I hope, our Anon surveillance program will actually bring some personal responsibilities to these rooms. Not only Chillism, but also politically correct. So, thank you.
Well, those are not the only ones. I think healthy debates need some monitoring. And if others want to monitor this room, that would be fine. But I think that this Anon surveillance style that we're going to aim for is going to allow us to take the best and worst of Clubhouse, play the clips here live, and then have a discussion about what they're talking about. I think moving forward, tomorrow we have a brand new, brave new world of Clubhouse. It'll be a new style of content, and I hope everybody's here to enjoy it. Thank you.
Can also add with that too. I mean, it's good in a way of getting people to share their viewpoints instead of hiding in echo chambers and enclosed.
Could you please answer my question now? I mean, do you know?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah. I wasn't here. I was updating the app. So go ahead.
Yeah. Well, do you know who is Mikhail Bakunin? And
No.
you base your thoughts. Okay.
Look, he's never read Proudhon, he's never read Bakunin, he's never read Spooner, he's never read Murray Rothbard, he's never read any of these things.
I want to put my ideology in the chat.
So I mean, how do you base your anarchism on if you haven't read any of this stuff? I mean, this is my question.
Alright, so I asked ChatGPT what would be a specific ideology name for all of the things I've listed in a list of what I look for in a specific ideology. And it gave me the name that I really put in the chat.
What you're saying is absolutely nothing. I mean, it's not the theory that Bakunin proposed for anarchy, which was basically written at the same time as Marx and Engels when they wrote to the Capital and the Manifesto. I hope you know who Marx and Engels are, or not. I'm asking.
No.
No. Okay, perfect. I rest my case, Mojo. I think
Thank you for bringing clarity to this. But no, I think you get it. But you have to understand, right? Like Lordness he's he's not even the worst of these offenders. Like, at least he's standing up here and saying, hey, this is what I believe. It's not based on anything he's ever read, but we shouldn't be surprised about this because the people in chillism, they literally have debates and claim to be experts on things they've never read. I don't know if you've heard me talk about Ike and Concrete that had a 45-minute debate about Hegel. Come to find out, neither of them had ever read Hegel. And then when they got drugged for that, their response to that is that you can be an expert in a subject without reading it. You just need third-party information. That was their claim.
So talking about the ethical state of Hegel, it's like, probably it's something nobody in chillism have any idea of. Am I correct?
Well, I don't think it's fair to say nobody because what's interesting is there is a mix of, for example, Eric, I don't know if you know Io, I would argue is probably the highest IQ person on the entire app. If there's somebody with higher IQ, I just haven't bumped into him. The guy is like literally a fucking genius. And he goes in there, my guess is to just see how our society has collapsed. That would be my guess of why he goes in there. So there are some intelligent people that pop up in there. My queen, Monica, she goes in there. And then Brad goes in there and yells at people sometimes. I think Adams has even gone in there to yell at them from time to time. But this isn't, look, I never claimed that we have the smart people on the app in here, and certainly we don't have the smartest people in society in this room. That is never going to be my claim. We have what we have, right? For fuck's sake, we have Brent on the stage, right? For what it's worth. But what I will say is that they have found it's like the Pied Piper. They are leading all of the dumbest people to that room. Doesn't mean that the whole room is dumb. It just means that the dumbest people on the app will find their way to that room. It's very amazing.
See, Pied Piper is exactly that's the mind virus. And let's say, their show was put on Netflix. It would create a mind virus and they would be the cause celebre. They would be the, you see how communication works? And the irony is they would be celebrated and compensated for being stupid. That's the Pied Piper. I mean, that is the downfall. It's the blind leading the blind.
Yeah, Lourdes, are you shocked that in this poll with 16 responses that you're the only one that would choose anarchy over authoritarianism, constitutional monarchy, or representative democracy? Are you surprised at that?
No, I'm happy to level up on this.
Yeah, and are you surprised that authoritarianism has twice the amount of votes as anarchy?
Not really. I mean, either way, it's not a big deal to me.
Can you go back to, explain, because there's some new people here, can you go back to the part where you were saying that if somebody murdered somebody, that would be, that there's nobody for you to call and nothing can be done?
I mean, the ideology of the system, it's absolute free-for-all. You're able to do whatever you want with how many forms of restriction or regulation.
You do realize that that's not what a single philosopher of anarchy believes. Not the current type. Well, the anarcho-communists, the anarcho-capitalists, none of them believe what you're saying. So my question is, where did your ideology come from? What was your influence?
Thinking about a specific ideology that would solve every form of group and individuals' problems.
I mean, just to go back to what Roger said, anarchy as a political philosophy, what you're talking about is a destruction of hierarchical structure, destruction of the state structure, but what they're still believe in is local control, associations, etc. There is nowhere in historical anarchy that you would have had what you're talking about.
Obviously, because it hasn't happened yet.
But nobody thought that should be what occurs. Just pure in control. We think it should be controlled at the local level through voluntary association. I mean, it's a weakness. Like how it would actually work, the intellectual structure was there. That's always been a problem with anarchism, but nobody thought saying besides you.
I mean, that's fine. I'm not trying to be like everyone else, just be a follower and shit. I don't know, with your ideals, from what I'm getting from you, it sounds like look like a Star Trek hypothetical ideology, which honestly is unrealistic in comparison to what I'm saying, from my perspective.
Yeah, I mean, each is his own, and people can call what they believe is a political philosophy, whatever they want to call it. I'm just pointing out that what you're saying is anarchy has no real connection to the historical kind of intellectual strains of the anarchist movement.
So, I mean, is this just a Lord knows? Is this just a book club? Honestly, is life best lived if it's lived as a book club? So, can I just ask the room a question? Can everybody maybe just say their favorite book? If we could go around and just everybody say, "This is my favorite book."
I'll start. My favorite book, it's a simple one. It's called The Four Agreements. It's a good book. It's a short read, and I think if people read it and tried their best to live by it, the world would be a better place. Next.
I'll go next. My favorite book is The Biggest Secret by David Icke. It opened me up to a lot of more of my other favorite books, but I think if people read that book with open mind, they get a good insight on where the world is headed to, because everything he predicted is happening. That was like 25 years ago.
Serendipities?
Okay, sorry.
I'm just going in PTR order as I see it. Actually, maybe let's go. Some people might be away. Paula, go ahead.
I would say that it's a toss-up for me with Candide by Voltaire and On Human Nature by David Hume.
Very nice.
I would have to say either The Spook Who Sat by the Door or The Alchemist. But then again, I'm also really, really obsessed with the Game of Thrones book series.
Have you ever read the book Angry Black Woman's Guide to Life?
No, I'm not familiar with that one.
I haven't read it either, but it is currently the book that is sitting in the guest bathroom right now. I always like to put a book out so when people are guests, if they have to unload, I want them to have reading material, and I just think it's funny to have that book there.
Yeah, you have a lot of black women as guests, huh, Roger? Okay, I see you.
Yes.
I would say War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds, okay. All right. Interesting. Back when Clubhouse was in its heyday, there was a room, probably had like 2,500 people in it, and people were just going down the list doing this, mentioning their favorite book, and there was a lot of repeats, in a room like that, because there was a lot of people, but the one that comes up quite a bit is the Bible. A lot of people say if you're only going to read one book, you should read the Bible. It gives you a lot. It gives you murder. It gives you mystery. It gives you code to live by if you choose to. I'm not even a Christian, but I would say that the Holy Bible is a must read for people. I would recommend it.
But wait, I thought you viewed the Bible as like a book of fairy tales or something. What did you call it?
No, I called it Torah fan fiction, but I also believe that in this Torah fan fiction, there are good rules to live by. I like when Jesus was asked, how to get eternal life. He said that he didn't come to he didn't come to erase the laws of Moses. He came to fulfill them. And he said that the two greatest commandments are to love God and to love people. And if you do those two things, you will fulfill the law. So I really appreciate Jesus simplifying things, because in the Torah there are 613 rules. Christians don't do enough inventory of a list that long, so they shortened it to the 10 Commandments. There's actually 613 commandments, but that's fine if you needed to make a top 10 list. And that was before David Letterman made top 10 lists popular. So shout out to the Christians for making a top 10 list.
Yeah, I wanted to say one of my favorite books in the Bible is Corinthians, and this is the verse from the 13th chapter. It says, "Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails." If people on Clown House really had that type of attitude, this would not be a toxic app.
I think an important one to read for Clubhouse, though, to just be prepared, would be 2 Kings chapter 2, where it talks about when you mock the prophet Elisha, and he prays for help from God. Two bears appear from the forest, and they maul 47 children. I think that's probably more of an appropriate scripture for Clubhouse. Let's get back to Lourdes and this anarchy thing. Lourdes, you're an anarchist. What led you to this belief? Like, was it a book you read? Was it a podcast you heard? How did you go from watching the Cincinnati mayor Jerry Springer to being an anarchist?
It's not like it's not like that. But look, it's more of, at first I guess I was doing some type of simulation on a game called Stellaris. It's like an ideology type of game, a space ideology game. That you're testing out different types of ideologies and seeing how they progress and all that. Seeing it from like a very detailed perspective of different story arcs and all that. Just looking into like a full-on in-depth simulation of how a ideology could form and progress in a massive scale. And that's already. Hold on.
Well, pardon me, but so you played a video game. And you simulated a government structure where there is no government, and it was pure anarchy, and you came away with that this is your new ideology.
No, wait, somewhat, not fully. And then I went on to social audio apps, which was, my first app was Stereo. Not bad. Trying to help out Israelites and all that, seeing their different perspectives and all that, seeing what could help them out in this type of ideology. And then it just, like on Clubhouse, same thing. Just over time, I improved it in a way of fixing. It's just an ideology that would fix all the different groups and all that. Like, not fix them, but more of improve their groups and all that. Let's say if Israelites, right? Hebrew Israelites, if they were to have their own form of territory and lands.
Hebrew Israelite? Wait, hold on. Hebrew.
Yeah, you don't know about
the Black Hebrew Israelites?
Yes.
Do you know that they're neither Hebrew or Israelites?
Look, that's what they call themselves. Okay.
Yeah, but they're just a knockoff Jews.
Either way, the point is.
Well, Lourdes, you realize that that's just Scientology.
That's what they call themselves. That's what they call themselves.
I can call myself Superman, but
I mean, you can. No one's stopping you.
Do you know any of them that actually speak Hebrew?
No. I don't know if I'm speaking either.
Isn't it weird to call yourself a Hebrew Israelite and not speak Hebrew?
I never asked them if they did.
I do. That's the difference. I do. I ask the important questions. I ask the Muslims if they support pedophilia, and I'll ask the Black Hebrew Israelites if they speak Hebrew.
Understood. I guess the point is this more if all of these different groups and religions, corporations, they would have more control of land and territory, creating their own forms of laws, regulations within their controlled territory. In the neutral territory, obviously, it's a little bit more isolated, but beneficial in some way. From privacy.
You know that like nobody really speaks ancient Hebrew, like the people say it's not the ancient Hebrew. There's some scholars that
Is this ice cream? Yeah, but don't you think it's weird that the people on this app that identify as Hebrew Israelites, the only thing that they speak is Ebonics?
How much is it? 30,000. This is dirty ice cream.
I do talk to them. That's the point. And this room is welcome to all of these people. You know the difference? I just figured out the difference between this and chillism is when the bad ideas come up in chillism, they like they let it prevail. The bad idea is centered and propped up. Here, the bad ideas are interrogated, and we try to get to some semblance of truth. We ask questions like, why do you believe what you believe? And then we point out some of the problems that go along with these ideas. But you can't expect good, high-quality dialogue in a room where the moderators will allow a 45-minute debate between two people that have never read the source material that they're debating. I mean, this is the thing we're dealing with. At least in here, if I were to say, hey, John, do you want to have a debate about Kant? He's probably read it. Powell has probably read it. We can have a conversation about that. I'm no expert on Kant, but I have my thoughts. I have read some. I can have a limited conversation about Kant. But these guys are reading something that's far more dense, or they claim to. And then when called out on it, they acknowledged that they had never read it. Like, Hegel's a tough read. I mean, I don't blame people for not getting through it. What I do fucking condemn is the people that haven't read it, that decide that they're an expert on it and want to have an argument about it. It's very...
And that's better than our heard until this yesterday for 2 hours about can fish get thirsty. And Brad was involved in the argument. It was actually a heated argument. It was like one of those joking shit. They was literally in a heated argument for over 2 hours about fish being thirsty.
Okay, so moving forward, we won't have to open rooms talking about what we heard in chillism. We'll actually allow you to listen.
Why you do that? Give me it.
You okay, Hakima, you alright?
I'm my fault. I ain't know about my son.
No, it's okay.
My son threw water all over the floor.
Oh, you're talking to a human? I thought you were talking to a dog like that. That's the way I talk to Bubba sometimes. You're all good. You're all good. We didn't mean to pry into your personal life. So, in the future, thanks to our friend, future Congressman John Kidover, we are going to stream rooms such as chillism or politically correct and other rooms, healthy baits, for example. We will stream them into this room, and then we'll just have a conversation. We'll listen to a little bit. We'll say, hey, let's go peek in and see what's going on in chillism. And then we'll listen a little bit, and then once we've heard enough, we'll stop the stream, and then we'll have a conversation. I think this is going to be the best rooms that Clubhouse can do at this stage of the game. Chrissy, I'm not the one that condones recordings. What I've accepted is that the app itself has condoned anonymous accounts, and there's nothing I can do about it. I can't, like, if somebody was an anonymous account, I can't throw them out. So if you can't beat them, join them. That's the old saying. And so what we're going to do is we're going to repurpose content from other rooms into this room and then create an elevated sense of content over here. That's the plan. John, do you want to talk a little more about that?
Yeah, going back to the title of this room, Anarchy, I believe that tomorrow will cause anarchy on this app. And it is because essentially we will be obliterating echo chambers. And so technically in communication, the reframe is very powerful. So tomorrow we are going to offer Clown House a fresh reframe, and I think you will witness total and absolute anarchy. And again, I am running for Congress, so I do believe this will be beneficial in drawing attention to my campaign. You know, particularly with regards to communication strategy and the lack of education, or really just how degraded and how much brain rot has truly set in amongst our fellow Americans.
Amazing. Amazing. I'm excited about this. I hope you guys are excited. Because here's the other thing. You can come to this room and not have to worry about missing out on what might be going on in another room. Because we're going to bring you the best and the worst of what Clubhouse has to offer. And then we will offer our analysis and our critique. Some of us might say, hey, they made a really good point. That's probably unlikely to happen when we stream Chillism in here. But I think it's going to give us a great opportunity to expand. I like the idea of sometimes maybe we'll just tap into hear what the Persians are saying. We won't understand a lick of what they're saying, but it might be just fun and refreshing to just hear the different speech patterns and the the cadence in which people speak. There's endless possibilities of this, and so I'm putting all of Clubhouse. This is a warning to you. We are going to be listening, and we are going to be streaming, and we are going to be talking about what you're talking about.
You gotta change the name of the house or do it in another house, like somebody critiquing Clubhouse or something.
No, because people prefer to be in the muff, and if they don't like being in the muff, they probably don't belong here.
Okay, I can't talk against being in the muff. I'm with you.
Even Brent likes being in the muff.
Again, you have to realize all communication.
I'm certainly in it more than you are.
All
maybe so. You're married, and if your wife puts out on a daily basis, you're getting more than I am. I will freely admit, because I'm very selective. I am not having sex every day like some of you whores.
Same reason since I haven't joined Mojo. That, and as you observed the other day, I just like to hold on to pink thing.
It's okay. I know why you held the pink ticket, and I'm gonna hit the nail on the head here. You can deny if you'd like, but you have some friends that are of a far lefty variety, and if they were to come and peek in this room and see you on as a member of the house, you could at least have some dignity by saying, "I'm not a member. I was just there refuting some of their bad ideas." I think that's why you do it.
I was here as the left ambassador, a mole. But if you actually change the room, you had other rooms. Yeah, I mean, other houses where I was a full-on member. So I'm not sure that's entirely true.
So is it just the title of the room you don't like? The house?
100%. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe we'll have a poll someday and we'll change the name of the house. I'm very partial to this, so I'm going to be voting for it. But
I mean, maybe hovering over the muff, circumventing the muff. I don't know, something a little more scientific.
You know what
Hey Moose, how are you in the muff but don't want to join the in the muff? Like that's hypocritical.
Stuff in real life.
Listen.
You're cutting out.
You know, tomorrow you are all.
Sorry, I was just getting some more muff.
You are all going to witness tomorrow squealing, screaming, anger, absolute chaos, anarchy, and insanity. And, you know, I have some experience with this on this app. I mean, I have been recording these rooms for quite a while, and when they know that I'm live streaming them, they have emotional meltdowns. But the fact that we will also be piping it in with the assistance of In the Muff, this is going to amplify the exposure tomorrow. So if you are available tomorrow at 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. or however long we go or whenever it starts, please join in the fun, invite people to the room, and we're going to need your participation. That means we need you to go to Politically Correct, to Chillism, and say, hey, they're live streaming your audio into another Clown House room. They're also putting it on YouTube, and they are critiquing what you're saying. We're not going to repeat what they say. We're pretty much going to be the contrarian to what they're saying, or not. But I hope tomorrow you all enjoy this incredible roast. Again, this is going to be a roast.
Well, I also would like to say that it gives an opportunity for the smart people with the good ideas to have their message amplified. Maybe, just maybe, this could be the instrument that causes people to have better conversations. I think it's going to be fun when people say, I don't consent. I don't consent to have it streamed. You know, the thing that nullifies that is I don't even have to go into a room to listen to it. You can just go in the hallway and hover over a room. Without even entering the room, you could listen to it. So all of these ideas that people have about privacy on this app and you know, I don't give consent, all of that stuff is gone. And if you don't like those facts, you should talk to Paul or Rowan, because those are the ones that have come up with those ideas. And so the other thing I want to highly encourage people to do is to really maximize this, is that when the YouTube is streaming, to make sure that you go onto that YouTube account, you go ahead and subscribe to it, like it, share it, comment on it, and also take it and share these these clips on other social media, because I think if we blow up the YouTube stream, it will drive traffic. People that have never been on Clubhouse will go, where is that happening? And then when they realize that, oh, there's this app called Clubhouse where there's a house called In the Muff where you don't even need to peruse the app. You could just go get the best and the worst of in one central location.
Yeah, I hate that new feature. I haven't experienced it yet where you can hover over the houses and listen to what's being said for so many minutes. Now, you know, when I go into other people's houses, I do my best to censor my ideas and take my time and really think before I speak. In my own house, not so much, but now I have to be so very careful. I really, really hate this new feature.
Nice, you're talking about the feature like where you're seemingly in the hallway, you hover over one room, and then you hear like, I don't know, what is it, 30 seconds, a minute of conversation.
Exactly.
Where you is you to join the room. That's my Lord, my kingdom for a goddamn. Okay, am I coming through better here?
Yeah. Go.
Well, I was just gonna say, what was deceiving about that, as per huge with Clubhouse, it says, so you're hovering, thinking you're eavesdropping, or like, hey, I'm gonna listen for a little minute, or anything interesting, maybe I'll join. And it actually has the big blue button that says join room. I found out inadvertently, they're like, I don't know what room it was, but they're like, Moose, why do you keep going in and out of our room? I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I realized, even without hitting join the room, they see you in the room. Like, what? I mean, really, are these 14-year-olds that are coding this? It's absolutely wild. It's counterintuitive to a positive user experience.
You know,
let's talk about the coding for a second, in how it pertains to new features. They have this polling feature that's up above that hopefully you guys have all responded to by this point. If you do the math, it adds up to 102%. This is a quick fix. I could even fix it, and I'm not particularly good at programming. The other thing that's interesting is that it shows who voted for what. I think anonymous voting would be better. And then the final critique is that if I were to go and change the poll, it will kick me out of the room. I should be able to change the poll, in the poll, do those types of things without being thrown from the room. There's a lot of work that they have. Hopefully you guys can get that kind of feedback to the founders.
Can I just say, tomorrow, I will be doing the heavy lifting and live streaming the room, so if everyone wants to share my video, but I would encourage you all to get a second cell phone and literally live stream or record what people are saying on this app. Don't be a victim of, the spam on this app. Reverse the flow. Hopefully we can organize and monetize, but I think that if we are going to change America, this is actually could be a great butterfly effect platform to do that with. And if the founders of this app shut down what we're doing, well, it doesn't matter to me, because apparently you could just keep creating accounts. So even they are exhausted, I think, with all of the gossip and all of the reporting. And, Anonymous was a response to essentially take the responsibility off of them from people making recordings of what people like to complain about that are unrecorded rooms. So again, they deferred that liability and took that responsibility off of their plate. And it's creators who are creative that will generate social change for positive change. I mean, this is how we maybe evolutionize our consciousness on technology platforms like this. It's the people. The platform is doesn't even exist. It's agnostic. We're just people talking to each other on a fucking conference call. That's it. But how we structure it, what we say, what information is being exchanged is what matters. The platform is basically insignificant. It's almost like it doesn't exist. We're just brains talking to brains on a fucking conference call. So I'm just saying time is very important and what we say matters. So hopefully, even, the term anarchy is going to breed a collective organization, that helps everybody. Utilitarian type of, raising of all ships. But I think tomorrow is going to be fun. I mean, this is basically the pre-party show.
Well, make sure you tap into that room full of rats led by WAC 100. That should be an interesting, chaotic conversation.
You could technically call the show Stirring the Pot, because that's what we will be doing, is stirring the pot.
Well, it definitely sounds like it's going to be fun.
Maybe, Angel, unless John happens to tune into a room where they're talking shit about him. That could go either way. It could be entertaining or, quite disturbing. John, how would you feel about that? I keep calling you John because you're PTR. If you happen to tune into a room and the entire discussion is dragging you.
Yeah, that to me is when I really tickles my feather, because then I pull out a cell phone and I hit the short on YouTube and I create a 15-second to a 3-minute clip of them defaming me, libeling me, making death threats, etc. That's when it gets a lot of fun over here in the recording studio.
30 people in the room at the moment. Apparently 6 plus account. I think it's time for Clubhouse to go back to the monetizing board.
Well, if they're going to charge people, they should give them a feature that they actually asked for. In fact, if they were to listen to the people that have been on this app of what would make for good monetization, it would be easy to figure out. Coinbase actually had a pretty good system where you buy hearts, and then you basically buy a heart for a penny, and then when you give the heart to somebody, you like what they say, or you can give them multiple hearts at the same time. You give them 100 hearts, 1,000 hearts, 10,000 hearts. And then when you give them the heart, they get half of the value of that, and then the app keeps the other half. And so every heart costs a penny, and if you get a heart, you get a half a penny. So you have to get 2 hearts to make a penny. By the way, when Kelly and I did our rooms on Fanbase, I made more money in that first room on Fanbase than I ever made here on Clubhouse. So that's something that does work. $12. No, I made on the first room I made over $60, and on the second room I made like $30-something. So combined, I've been on that app 3 times, and I made like just a hair over $100.
I don't know if anybody knows, and who Kim Cutts is. Adams might know Kim Cutts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I joined Fanbase. I don't really go over there, but if she opens a room, I'll go listen to Kim Cuts. When I first joined the fan base, I think I had about 1,000 hearts, and I'm down to maybe 100. I give all my hearts to Kim Cuts. What did you say, Adam?
I don't fuck with the ghetto.
I remember like Kim Cuts and what was the other one? Was it Honey Badger that they would have these rooms on Clubhouse with like
That's
Shakur, like
I love her.
300-400 people in there, and I go in there, I'm like, all right, I just like, you know, sociological experiment, like what is the attraction? And I just didn't get it. Like her Cash App thing is posted. Like, why are there 300 people in this room listening to? I mean, I'm not saying it was. I don't know, to each their own, I guess, at the end of the day. But I was I was trying to just understand what some influencers do to attract the folks that listen to them. Like, it's bizarre.
Hey, John, are you set up where we could test out this streaming feature now? Or do you need till tomorrow?
No, I have other accounts, but I won't jump into a room under anonymous. I'll just, if you want to hear a room to test the audio quality, we can do that.
Yeah, I want to see if we can test. Let's go peek in at the 13 people that are in Chillism. That would be fun.
Wow, 13. They're actually over double digits?
Yes.
See, the great thing about this is, I'm not the only one who has to be the person who can participate. If anybody here has another device and you got good audio quality, feel free to speak up. You know, this is a collective effort.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, if somebody wants to like peruse the app and go, holy shit, you won't believe what they're talking about, boom, there's the content. Let's go ahead and tap in. We could crowdsource this bitch, make sure that anything that is good or anything that is comically bad, we can go ahead and bring it into this room, and then we get to talk about it. This is what the people want to listen to. They want to make sure they're not missing. That FOMO thing is real. The fear of missing out. You can't be here and there, but starting tomorrow, you will be able to be everywhere on this app, everywhere all at once.
Okay, let's do a quick little test here. So we are going to play.
I don't consent to being recorded.
Okay, this is Joker's Lounge. Songs to my Habibti. This is Anne is in this room.
Do we have an alliance or not?
There's no alliance. This is free for all.
If anyone skips me one more time, you two better skip me one more time. I swear to God, I'm gonna punch you.
Look how many cards I have, Bells.
You, Scorpy, my sweet.
I'm saying, look at how many cards I have. It's like,
Yeah, but Mises is looking real low, and now Turpy is looking real low. I don't trust any of them.
It's trying to make sure we can get 2 cards. You have to make it make sense.
Relax. You're fucking great right now.
I can't
Take a
relax.
deep breath and fuck them up.
It's funny how
Oh
dressed
my
he
God,
gets.
gee, they just. It's okay.
Okay, that's called Joker's Lounge. Songs to my Habibi. Let's see if we can find Chillism. I may be blocked or kicked. In the meantime, this is called What Happens to Africa if Burkina Faso Falls with Lonzo.
Boycott. You are a low IQ degenerate.
Can I offer a quick submission?
All things, hold on, bro. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Out of all things, you could be losing your. Out of all things, you could be using your time, your intellectual labor, your social political capital on. You're gonna focus on a non-factor, small immigrant population. Like, what are we even talking? Like, this is low IQ at its finest. This is niggatry, bro. This is.
Right. And if I may, I'm sorry. Do you mind if I add something, Nathan? Yeah. Well, I think, Sister Pretty, we also have to realize, I don't know if you're involved in activism or community activism in your city or community, but yeah, Black folks have always protested against white businesses. In fact,
during the George Floyd and even the Michael Brown in St. Louis. You know, they shut down entire shopping malls. During the holidays, because as you know, the verdict for Michael Brown came down in November. So
They kicked me. They kicked me. So this is where Anonymous comes into play, where live streaming that type of content and then providing feedback or just being shocked at to what they're saying is the real value of Anonymous. And this is why anarchy and chaos, will proceed from this scientific experiment.
Amazing. Wait, John, what room was that? That was the chillism room?
No, that's Lonzo's room.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Lonzo's the Haitian guy that likes to speak for American blacks.
Yeah, I think I'm following him.
Okay, I give you chillism. This will be 60 seconds of chillism.
Yeah, exactly. What's up, Mark? Can't answer a question. Oh, wait, neither can you.
So like I said, if I was to go down the street,
Was that Mark, you want to take over? You want to ask him a question?
He's making me have to
Throw him in your blender. I'm sure you will.
I would like to present what I interpret why he was talking about genetics.
Brother, no, yo, hold on, brother.
That would be
There's like 8 things happening at once.
No, it's 3.
Right.
1, 2, 3. You're right. It's 3.
He's getting away with a lot of things right now, and I want to.
What am I getting? I just asked you about your feelings.
So no, brother, no. You did something, and I want to point it out.
What did I do? What
it's
did I do?
very important to the
Is this your
conversation.
humanity that you're going to explain what I did? Because we know it's flawed.
Can we get him down for just a second?
No, that's not going to happen. That's definitely not going to happen, bro. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not breaking any rules in this house.
Make your submission.
I'm not breaking any rules in this house.
Nathan, anybody, can I get
Oh my God, he's calling for help. He's calling for help. Why do you need so much
Can I get a
help?
bulletproof vest?
To be fair, I cannot contravene the rules of the house.
Yeah,
Mike
I'm trying to contribute. Yeah, I'm trying to contribute to the conversation.
What you could try to do is, because a lot of people do this was pretty smart. You can try and get Mike to break the rules. So I don't know, maybe try and get him to talk about either kids or call a woman a bitch on stage, so if he can quickly pick a woman into the room and then like swap, tag out, and then like Mike calls me a bitch, but then he does it against her or something like that. Like these are the ways you can bait him into it. Like
quite difficult. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, that's 60 seconds of chillism. Now, I think at some point you have to have some self-reflection. Say, is it worth it? Is it worth it to come here and to listen to these meaningless conversations of brain rot? Is it worth it? That's my question I want to ask you. Is it worth it?
Maybe that could be the title of the room. Is it worth it?
You guys, Nelson, has anybody been on Chatter? Nelson's gone absolutely psychotic. He begged me to come over. Every time I talk, he throws me out. He has gone absolutely psychotic. A number of my colleagues, we won't even go in there anymore. Has anyone been over there recently?
Yeah.
No,
it's crazy.
Some kind of financial
Crazy. It's crazy. I encountered Jennifer Lopez's, makeup artist, which is very strange. Very strange. Very strange.
I haven't been there since Jonathan Bing ruined me. So I left when Jonathan Bing ruined it.
They are literally putting guns out when they talk, and they're threatening each other with guns. It is, I don't want to be there at all, but something's about ready to come down that's not okay. And when I heard someone say they don't fuck with the hood, that's exactly what Chatter's turning into. And Nelson is really, he's so triggered by me, it's insane. And, I tried, and if anyone else has had a negative experience, I support them in speaking out about it.
Well, that's interesting because when the app first launched, Nelson touted it as being the opposite of Clubhouse. No ghetto, no ratchet, no threats, no violence, no calling people out in the headlines, no doxing. So to hear you say he has now gone down the rabbit hole of fuckery, I'm amused.
It's really bad, like psychiatric bad. Up all night. people attacking each other. It's completely out of control. And I started this Make America Healthy Again, send Nelson back to Nigeria, and he's mad as hell. But I'm tired of it. I mean, I'm tired of it, and it's unhealthy. And there's people there who've like drank the Kool-Aid, who are getting caught into it. So it's sad.
You know what would be a really, really fun room on Chatter? The Lee Wanta scandal.
We separate rich.
Well, if anybody in Clubhouse wanted to do send Nelson back to Nigeria,
one is
you're
11.
welcome in.
It's like,
Ping
no,
me
I
and
said
I'll
1
see
plus
when I'm
1,
around.
not 1 next
Nelson
to 1.
doesn't understand.
Well, by
Nelson's been in
definition of
this
the word
country
1
like
is different
6
from your
years.
definition of the word
And
1.
what he's doing,
And they
he's
try to proceed
creating,
forward
he's
forward
not
with the
being
argument.
an anarchist. He's creating complete chaos. Complete chaos. And, I guess he didn't pay somebody, and yesterday they came on the episode and stuff going, went psychotic.
Lee Wanta scandal. Thank you. Lee Wanta scandal. Ask him about that.
Well, I'm not talking to what scandal is that?
Yes.
I mean, and it's gone, it's like over the
Words
line of
to that
danger
is
now.
something that
But
we
what
all can
scandal is
agree on,
that?
and we could act.
Roger?
Which scandal are we referring to, Dr. Adams? I'm sorry, I missed it.
The Lee Wanta scandal. Bilking billions of dollars out of, white people in Florida.
You want to expand on that?
Nigerian scams?
Is Nelson involved in that? What kind of scam is that? Is that celebrity scam?
Look it up. Look it up.
Can you guide me through it? Is he involved in that? Do you have any facts of him being involved in that?
No, of course not. I mean, I'm not allegedly, equating him to that scandal. But again, look up that says scandal.
People on Clubhouse, and then Nelson went and created Chatter. Nelson keeps coming onto Clubhouse trying to steal Clubhouse's audience. If I was the CEO of Clubhouse, I would be really pissed off at Nelson. And I would ban him from coming in here. I mean, somebody's got to put some, American wake-up call on what this guy's doing, because it's not safe. It's getting where it's, full-on ghetto now. And I guess last night they all brought their guns out on their videos, That's fucking insane, and I land. Thanks for letting me talk. Thank you.
Dr. Mojo, since you are the premier green bean, I would just ask that, as the super producer, if at any moment you want to make a request, during the show today or tomorrow, and you say, okay, you know what, John or somebody else in the room, give us chillism, give us, give us that show, give us a random sample, just to break it up.
Yeah, so I think what we're gonna do is we'll have a regular room where we talk, and then people can say, hey, here's a subject, here's a topic in another room, maybe we check on that, and then when we do it, once we do bring the stream in, everybody needs to remain on mute so we can hear the stream. This is where we need to get, we'll have a culture in here of, if we want to stop it, we'll get a GIF, and then if more than 50% of the stage wants to stop the stream, then we'll indicate, to stop. If it's good, we'll just let it go. Maybe we'll even have an indication of keep it going, keep it going, keep it going, and then we'll have a universal signal when we want it to stop. And then when we stop it, then we'll discuss it, we'll go around the room, we'll talk about it, and then if we want to tap back in and listen to it some more, we can do that. If we want to check in a different room, we'll do that. But we're going to have to get visual cues, not audio cues, of when we're done with the content. That way you would know, okay, you can stop now.
I think also putting a survey, once we know the names of the shows that we're rebroadcasting, that we have a survey, what's your favorite show out of the 4 selections that we're sampling?
That's a good idea. And then if we do tap into a debate, we'll definitely let people here decide who won their debate, and then we could give a feedback loop to them, like, hey, congratulations, the people in the Muff believe that so and so won the debate, and then it'd be a nice little. It's almost like publishing a voter guide. Adams, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Also, don't forget tomorrow, if you are in the Muff with us and you are part of this live rebroadcast experience, we may call you out and need your help to go into these rooms and alert them that they're being rebroadcast in this room. Your active participation is desperately needed. Without your help, you won't maximize the experience and have as much fun as you can, and this room won't be as popular and as big as it will be. So please, your participation will be required and needed.
Yeah, I think this is going to be fun. I think we'll also have to have some firm rules, like, for this room. Typical stuff that we already agreed to, like no doxing and no threats and that sort of thing. So when we're critiquing people, I think we should, I almost feel like we should play the critique straight. Like, the comedy is going to be what we stream, and then we can be the straight men and women, and we could critique it in an honest way, and then we can go back to the comedy that they provide to us. I don't think we need to add humor, a layer of humor over top of this, because the humor will be provided for us.
What time zone is that? That's Pacific time. I will have different times.
I'm going to schedule them on different days at different times, just to make sure I can, we can start getting
I can see what
it
it is.
So they can understand what's going on. Once we build a culture and the awareness that it's happening, then we'll standardize on a regular time. It works best for most.
You're non-black, correct? No, she's not.
I have a feeling we're going to find new favorite rooms. That's what I believe is going to happen. We're going to tap into a room, and it's going to be like, holy shit, where has this room been all our life? I think that's what's going to happen here. We're going to be scouring the app.
I don't think the whole science should be in public, because
we need everybody's help to do this.
If
Now, some people may not like this new format. I have a feeling we're going to be kind of chasing the dragon, in the sense that a lot of this is very boring. And so this is not a compression of the best clips. Again, this will be live. This isn't going to be like a day of recordings from yesterday and the best of the best. But my point in doing this is that what's the fucking difference? It's the same stupid shit. You're just listening to it in this room.
Different devices, like, what's your goal? How many rooms are you going to, like, what's your record for recording simultaneously?
I did a 3 studio recording session where I had 3 rooms being recorded live on multiple devices in different rooms at my house, or actually 4 different rooms in my house.
I think the White America rooms might provide some interesting content for us.
And I want to let everybody know this could be a grand finale type show. Like tomorrow, I will dedicate the morning to doing this, but this is basically the summary of my research project. This is like my thesis statement being submitted for my PhD. So this is the end of it. Like tomorrow will be a blowout, and I very much doubt we will do the same show. Maybe we'll do it this whole week. I don't know how hard it's going to draw me in, but this is what I've been doing for many years now. We're only doing what we've always been doing, but pull that curtain away, and we're going to find out who the Wizard of Oz is.
Lourdes, what do you? I want to get back to the anarchy thing. What do you think would be different in terms of the crime rate? Do you think the crime rate with no police force? Do you think it would go up or go down?
I mean, who would actually record it?
Well, let's just say there was an independent third party that did a survey.
Mojo, how this? Let's say in a corporation, communist ideology, specific territory within this ideology, right? It would vary, but I don't think the crime rate would be high in those territories, but in the neutral zone, it would vary. I mean, it would be difficult to try to record all of the deaths in the neutral zone, especially if nobody's going to really clean up the place. But I think it might be lower in a specific territory.
Who do you think would fare better, lefties, righties, or centrists?
Centrists.
Well, how would they fare better?
Is the question no law and order at all, or just local police, or no FBI, or what? All law enforcement gone?
So, alright, so from what I'm talking about with my belief system or ideology, corporations, religion, cults, ideologies, all of them, they're all able to control land and territory. They're able to have their own form of military, and police force is mainly based on currency, population, and a weapon of technology that they have to defend their specific ideology. Neutral zones, obviously, it's like a Wild West in some way. Just people just mind their own business.
You realize that in the Wild West they had sheriffs, right?
Oh, yeah. But I'm not saying like that. I'm just saying it as a hypothetical.
Right, but you referenced the Wild West, and I'm just suggesting that if you take like Tombstone, Arizona, the shootout at the OK Corral, all of that started with the sheriffs taking the guns from certain people. So law enforcement had some pretty strict rules back then. So why would you compare anarchy to the Wild West?
I'm talking about the neutral zones in a way of, I mean, there's no way you can really force someone to give them your guns unless, I don't know, you had like a implanted a nuke within you or something. Then it's like, well, if you kill me, it doesn't matter who's going to come out of this or not. But
well, that brings up another question that we've asked Bima, and I'd love to get your answer on this. Over 5,000, probably closer to 6,000 nuclear warheads. In your world, who would possess those?
Everyone.
Well, not everyone could have one because there's 350 million people in this country, and there's only let's call it 5,500 warheads. So not everybody gets one. So what's the more accurate answer? Who actually gets these?
Again, it's a free-for-all. So I mean, all right. First off, I guess if let's say we were going to go through a thorough hypothetical. In the beginning, people are going to be buying them. Some people are going to be selling them.
Well, but who has them to sell them? Because like right now they're like
military.
Oh, so the military will either keep them or sell them.
Correct.
And you think that's a good development?
Yes. Corporations could also purchase the warheads too.
So you're pro-nuclear proliferation?
Yeah. Look, the type of ideology I'm speaking of, if you view it like Warhammer 40K mixed with Terminator, times 100.
Anybody have any other questions for Lourdes? Do you guys think that this sounds like an attractive place to live, where the military sells nuclear weapons to whoever they want?
Sorry, just a question. Would Iran as well be one of the countries that could have nuclear weapons?
Wait, Iran?
Yes, Iran.
I mean, look, my ideology isn't for the world, it's only for the U.S.
But what if one of these military guys that's
If they do,
what if he wanted to sell it to somebody in Iran? Would that be okay?
look, it's their choice. If they do, they do. But I highly doubt they're really going to succeed in any way with one warhead when this ideology has a massive competition of war and technological growth to the point that they are capable of destroying the planet if they are losing their territory.
Well, again, you never cease to amaze me with your bad ideas. Anthony, just to catch up on what's going on here, Lordness, who's an anarchist, when he was asked the question, who would get the nuclear weapons if we had complete anarchy, and he said that the military would have them, and it would be their choice to keep them or sell them. And he indicated that it would be their choice if they wanted to sell these weapons to a nation state like Iran.
I mean, nuclear weapons. Sorry, Anthony. Go ahead, man.
Nah, Moose, it's all good. You know, this idea that the military, you know, what I look at, I look at self-interest, and it would not be in that military self-interest to do anything like that, bro. It makes fundamentally no sense whatsoever. So I have to vehemently disagree with your assessment.
So you think that the military is its own, in this hypothetical then, alright, wait. How would the military actually progress in this ideology?
I don't know from one share of Wild West to nuclear weapons.
They're also going to go against corporations that could probably make worse things.
In society breakdown, the military, they have guns, butter, training. They're going to be the ruling class like they are in a lot of countries when there's a military coup. You know, if we have anarchy, they and their loved ones will be well taken care of. If they can't produce it, they'll take it. It's just that simple. With them selling nuclear weapons makes no sense whatsoever.
I wonder what Brent has to say about this. Brent, Lordness says that in his desired state of affairs, the government would not exist and anarchy would prevail. And when he was asked about nuclear weapons, he said that the military would just keep them and they would be free to sell them if they'd like. So if you were a submarine captain and you had a submarine and the nukes that are on board, you could keep them or you could sell them. What do you think of Lordness' idea about this?
Well, I mean, taking it slightly more seriously and going back to the roots of anarchy and this kind of thought of elimination of the state, nuclear weapons are a great example of why you can never actually go towards political anarchy. See, because you frankly need that hierarchical control with something but like nukes, because you have to have one voice to launch it. You have to have, you know, that deterrent effect, and there's just no way out of it now that, you know, we have over 3,000 nuclear weapons. So, you know, it's like responding to Cinderella and the Magic Kingdom. I mean, it's not worth responding to, besides the fact that, to point out that, you know, political anarchy was always unfeasible, but in the modern world, nukes are an example why it is especially unfeasible now.
So what if we got some sort of a lot simpler, like old technology, like the railroad? Lordness, who would you've got a railroad that goes across the country. It could be for passengers, it could be for freight. In an anarchy society, when you have the organization of these things, what would happen if the people, let's say in Montana, decided, hey, we're going to build a bowling alley here, right where the tracks were. We're going to take the tracks out, and they just completely destroyed the train system. Who would stop them from doing that?
Nobody.
So you wouldn't be able to have a transportation method that crosses the country, such as roads or railroads.
I mean, there's other methods besides trains. If let's say we go down this route, I mean, look at my PTR. Back to that, the military selling the nukes and all that. Would they really be capable of fighting something like this in the PTR? An army of these, probably made from mad scientists creating all these different experiments and weapons and all that within a matter of days, because there's no regulation to stop them from creating it. Especially when they have the money and time to do so in corporations.
I'm trying to understand your point here. Can somebody help me with the translation?
No.
I believe he's saying without the government, weapons are going to advance at a much faster rate than is currently advancing.
Not just weapons, technology, transportation, every form of thing will advance to the point that no other country around the world would not want to fuck with this country. No way. Because then, I mean, let's just say if the whole world united against this one country, with all these different ideologies and corporations and all that, I mean, it could go down to either the specific ideology winning that war, or if we're close to losing it, might as well destroy the whole planet.
That doesn't sound like a good strategy to me, but let me ask you this. Who would coordinate the Navy? Because that's one of our big advantages when it comes to global supremacy in warfare. Who would control our Navy?
It would vary in the ideology that has control of a massive Navy.
That did answer my question.
Alright, then let's say Amazon, right? Let's say if Amazon was able to mass produce a navy, a strong navy. I mean,
and what would you do? You'd transfer warehouse workers into soldiers?
If they have to.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Lordness from Chillism.
Well, I wasn't originally there. I used to listen to your rooms a long time ago, I think a year ago.
Did you have these ideas back then?
Yeah.
Got it. So, do you think that chillism is cool?
Somewhat. I know a lot of cults. They're not 50-50, but not fully.
Got it. Do you feel like chillism has a Scientologist rhetoric?
I don't know. I mean, look, it's a little bit mixed in there.
Got it. So you don't see like an undertone of Scientology?
Not that I know of, or I can comprehend.
David, welcome. We're just talking to Lordness, who is walking us through this very well thought out philosophy of his called anarchy. And he was explaining to us who would possess the nukes, how life would just go on if there was no railway or interstate roads, how we would protect against foreign invasions if we have no coordinated navy. It's fascinating stuff, Dave. John, who do you think is a better presenter of ideas, Bima or Lourdes, when it comes to anarchy? Anyone want to answer that? Okay, the whole room's got silent. Perfect, amazing.
Well, I've only been to Chilism today. I haven't been there before. But I'm extremely fascinated by this character, Lordness, because I think, I mean, are you actually trolling? Tell me the truth.
Oh no, I'm not. I mean, I'm writing a story on this novel too, or on this ideology too. So I mean, either way.
Are you completely mad?
I mean, you can say whatever you want and make as much claims as you want, but it's just my belief system. After all, I do believe in the multiverse.
Oh, right, okay. And, yeah, okay. I mean, I don't need to ask anything else. Thank you.
Okay, Lordness, you have me on multiverse now. Now my interest is peaked. And I was in the store, I couldn't answer Mojo's question. I think you said who's the better speaker or the best presenter of their ideology, Bima or Lordness. I would have to say Lordness. He's very descriptive with his narrative. It's well thought out. As fantastical and insane as it is, I have to give him credit for the creativity he's put into this chaotic, deathly world that he wants to live in, where there are no laws, no rules, rape, murder, the children aren't safe, the women aren't safe. So, and then you added the multiverse as icing on the cake. So I guess you would win in the battle between your narrative and Bima's narrative.
I think that's a good point, because Bima typically just says, I support ideas where you cannot initiate force or coercion onto another person or people. And then when you ask her for specifics, she has nothing. So at least Lordness engages with us and tells us what he thinks that this might look like.
I mean, I'm just giving you guys the little things that you guys are asking questions about. I'm not giving the full-on, in-depth detail of this.
Who would make the rules?
Now, alright, this is still a little bit of a weird, iffy part. Think of it like the Illuminati. Think of it like the Illuminati, but a little bit more like its own military force that has the most advanced technology in every way to defend this ideology. Now, laws and all that, I mean, it would vary on the territory, but mainly that military force of the Illuminati, hypothetical military force and all that, that would be the portion of the ideology that would defend the specific ideology if either one of the ideologies was a majority of the whole state or country, or if a nation attempts, or all nations attempts to go against the specific ideology.
But isn't that kind of antithetical to the whole point?
They're not enforcing laws. They're only there just to let it keep it going.
But by virtue of that, they are enforcing laws.
So I'm not getting what you're asking.
If the purpose of them is to defend the ideology, that seems to me to be a system of governance.
Some might see this is like a little bit of the iffy part because they're not really, because there's no main government because of all the different ideologies, the corporations, let's say communism, if Amazon was its own form of military and defense force and all that. There are so many forms of ideology within their own territory as societies and different forms of currency. Like it expands to a larger picture. Like this specific force doesn't involve itself with any form of the land or territory. It's just like think like a spire. It's just a little spire that's just empty and void, nothing at all. Let's just say if one of the ideologies took control of the whole country, or let's say if the whole world was to go against this country, this military force would be capable of going against the whole world and or the specific ideology.
How does this military fund itself?
I mean, mainly taken from the other ideologies through back deals.
Ideologies have bank accounts.
Yes, I mean different forms of currency.
That sounds like taxes.
I mean, some could have taxes, some wouldn't.
Who would have the authority to collect taxes?
So if let's say the corporation had taxes, obviously they would have their own form of police force and military to collect the taxes, or a system that automatically collects the taxes within the territory.
So, in our current state, we have a constitution, and we have a legal basis to say that we're going to collect these taxes. What would be the basis that gives this company the authority? And what if a competing company comes along and says, "No, give the taxes to us. We're better"? What's to stop that?
I mean, they'd have the right to do that.
Yeah, I mean.
So would you have to pay taxes to every corporation?
Not everyone. No, not everyone. I mean, because they all vary. I mean, wherever you choose to live, it's good. I mean, you don't have to, but they might kick you out or force you to do the work.
Lourdes, do you think this is a good idea?
Yeah, I mean, you've been asking me this a couple times.
No, I asked you what your ideas are, but I'm asking you if you think it's a good idea. I mean, like, it's one thing to come up with an idea. Like, there's another to come up with good ideas. Do you think this would optimize human flourishing?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Hey, so Mojo, I just been wanting. So when you were talking about Wild Wild West before, and yes, there was law enforcement, albeit at a very low scale. Do you think, like the Deadwood Age and all that, like the sheriff, new sheriff in town, would it be fair to say that not all homicides were accounted for, or even remotely pursued?
Yeah, I actually heard these comedians talking about this, where they were saying that in the Wild West, somebody could go and kill somebody, rob a bank, whatever it is, and then they can, then they draw a wanted poster, and so the only wanted poster is this image of what he looked like. Let's say he's wearing a particular type of hat, and let's say he has a mustache. He can get rid of the hat, shave his mustache, and then just go become a sheriff in another town. Like, there's definitely a lawlessness.
Exactly. Deadwood is a fantastic show. I'm actually rewatching it. It's been a number of years.
It was so unfortunate that they didn't get the natural conclusion to that show. The movie that they made years later was just not up to the standard of the show.
It was bad, yeah.
Yeah.
Swerenzer. Saka Swerenzer.
Yeah, no, I think the Wild West was an interesting thing. I actually think that
Kima, why do you gotta kick Mojo out like that? That's rude.
I wasn't even a martyr until he left. His battery died or something. He probably got a dead battery.
Does anyone have other questions, or man, this is Roger asking the questions?
Well, my thing is, sir, I'm not entirely. Oh, hold on. Lordness, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I'll be honest, I'm not entirely convinced that you want to live in this world unless you live in a castle with a moat, a fortress of somehow, because I don't think you'll be able to. I mean, you would have to have a pretty solid some weaponry to protect you and yours, right? Because I don't think that you alone. You have to have an army of darkness to fend off the rabid personalities who would come and want to rape and pillage your property. So I don't know. Do you have what does your army of darkness look like, sir? Because you're definitely going to need one. And also, here's a really important question: are there zombies in this apocalyptic world where anarchy rules?
Now, if a ideology does create zombies somehow, sure. But I highly doubt that's a possibility. If anything, it's all going to be cyborgs or clones or mutation creatures, some type of infection that could create biomass and all that.
The cyborgs and clones, I forgot about them. So yeah, what if the cyborgs go rogue? Humans are no match to cyborgs, sir.
Well, that's where you gotta improve yourself in any way possible to go against them.
Improve yourself, like more push-ups.
No. I mean, like having cybernetics and all that. Going full blown, like just doing whatever it takes to improve yourself in any way.
In a world without police, I don't think it'll be as violent as people think it is. I think the police, I think the police actually perpetrate violence because people think they know they can do certain shit and they protect it to a certain extent. But like in a world without police, it'll be more respect than people think.
You think police are worse than armies of darkness?
Oh my! Look. I mean, with Kima, I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, like it's in the beginning, it's gonna be like the Purge. It's in any form of ideology change, it's gonna be chaotic. Probably not as chaotic as the ideology I'm for, but
I think it would be more. Oh, sorry. No, you go ahead.
Over time, it will just calm down, and then it's just just I'm minding my own business. You fuck with me, we're gonna see how that goes.
I agree. I think Akima's honest. I think the shock value will, of course, it's not going to be overnight. People, of course, will take advantage of whatever for a while, but then a lot of criminals actually literally live on the thrill of cortisol and adrenaline, of being smarter than outsmarting the police and all that. I think it'll go back to truly it takes a village, not just to raise a baby, but to look after your neighbor. I mean, at the end, when the Italians and Jews came over to New York, fun fact, the Jews and Irish started their organized syndicates in New York before the Italians. And the Italians all right, you don't want us, we'll create our own neighborhood. And of course, Hollywood took it from there. But they literally did. They looked over neighborhoods, albeit for a nominal fee to keep your store safe from getting burglarized. But I think, and really at the end of the day, wherever one lives, see something, say something. How often do you feel walking down the street, you see somebody in trouble, someone will, a bystander will try to intervene on some level?
Folks don't like to intervene today. A lot of people like to mind their own business when they see people are in distress or being harmed. It takes a real true hero to want to help, someone vulnerable. And seemingly our population of weaklings, beta male mentality, folks who just want to mind their own business, look the other way. They don't want to get involved because they think if they get involved, they're putting themselves in harm's way. So I don't know. In Lord and this is
Unless they want to film it, no, they'll film it before they get involved.
You read my mind, David. That's it. That's their way of them getting involved. But you know, the thing is that you don't have to be the hero. You don't have to jump in and physically put yourself in danger or make yourself vulnerable. There's actually courses. It's like non-violent bystander, interference or something. Where literally, on the average, if you're across the street and you just start yelling like, "Hey, what the hell are you doing over there?" 9 out of 10 times, the perp, the attacker, will run off like a scared rabbit. You don't have to run over there to be the hero and beat somebody up. In fact, the only time I've ever been jumped in my life, late at night, walking the streets, coming out of a bar, these guys jumped me. They didn't even want my money because they threw a bottle at me. They were just coming out of some strip club, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And one of them, they jumps out of the car, runs over to me, and I'm like, whoa, dude, like, I'm not looking for... Before he got the sentence out, he knocks me to the ground, and some random dude happened to be across the street. He's like, "Hey, you okay over there? What the hell's going on?" And sure enough, the rat ran away.
Well, but I think in Lordness's world, if you say, "Hey, what are you doing over there?" you might get popped in the damn head, right? So I don't know. I'm not sold yet. I don't want to live in this world that Lordness is painting, because I just think, criminals know that there are now, in real life, criminals know that there are real life consequences to their criminality. If there's no judges, jury, and executioners, I think folks will run rabid. There would be death and destruction for years to come. I disagree with this theory that there would only be violence initially and that it would quell off somehow. I don't know. The modern day human is insanity. We want to be that violent. We're so far removed from spirituality, God, emotions, right? And if there's no one there to check us, then we will fully maximize this free will, this so-called free will that we have, and unleash, our nefarious ideas and ideologies onto the next human. So I don't know, Lordness.
Hey, Matt, the reason why, what I think, like I said, there's no one to check you. Like, it will be at that point. Like, people will check each other. Because right now, a criminal have an advantage. One, he's not afraid to go to jail. And you know that your retaliation is not, you're not going to retaliate, especially not to the degree that you're going to go harm one of his loved ones. But in that reality, people know that if I do something to you, you're not just going to, there's no jail. The retaliation, you won't come after me, my family. So like it's gonna be more of a reality that it's not gonna be protection from the police for the criminals have the advantage. Everyone's gonna have the same attitude. If you come fuck with me, I'm gonna come fuck with you and your family. And that's gonna keep a lot of people in.
Well, I also think we would have to, in that case, we would have to have like these communities or compounds of people who want to maintain civility, right? I think in the world that Lordness is painting, your average human would be very scared because they don't know the motive of those they encounter out in the street. They don't know if the person you encounter will kill you, pray for you, pray with you, join you in the rebellion, steal your shit, right? Or if they are checkable. So I think in this world that Lordness is painting, you would have to, I always like to say your vibe attracts your tribe. If you are the type of person that needs law and order and you want to live a very peaceful, soft kind of life, free from murder, robbery, chaos, etc., you would have to find like-minded people and build communities with them, a gated community, a fortress around this community so that the weirdos and the killers don't penetrate, right? Because I don't think that this will be a harmonious society that you guys seem to think it will be. I mean, have we not seen? Have we not watched science fiction films? Has the Walking Dead not taught us anything about what it would be like in a world full of where there's no law, there's no governance, world that Lord has crafted in his mind. Hakima, you would want to live in such a society?
I mean, we live in one right now where a certain group of people can do what they want to do to other people. I'm not talking about racially. I'm talking about as far as the government. They can do whatever they want to do right now. There is anarchy right now. That we're not.
Plato has some interesting thoughts on this, on essentially every man does what's right.
But like even like a show like Walking Dead, most people was trying to do the right thing. Most people was creating community. You had a few bad apples, but they run through every now and then. But most people was trying to. Everybody was not just savage.
Before serendipity goes, I was going to say, fun fact, sounds like you're a Walking Dead fan. They did a voiceover for one of the characters for the video game. Unfortunately, my character got killed off early, but it was fun.
Oh, right on.
Moose, how much has AI destroyed voiceover work?
Not as much as you think, Mojo. Not as much as you think. I know that was actually one of the, as Nye knows pretty well, like the huge actors-writers strike. Was that last year?
I think it was 2 years ago.
God, was that 2 years? Good Lord. Big part of the writing part was, and actually actors too, like having their images, like an avatar, replicated by AI, but the bigger threat was not eliminating AI for writers, but limiting the use of AI in TV and movie writing. But let's keep it real. Some of the shows that are out there, you're like, AI might do better.
Maybe it was last year, Moose, the strike. I really don't remember now.
So, Moose, it would be a hilarious development. So this app, they partner with somebody to basically, they can take your voice and license it however they wish. Wouldn't it be crazy if something went super, just exploded, maybe like a Pixar film where they took voice in Clubhouse? What if your voice became the star of a major hit without your consent?
Major hit like John streaming multiple channel, like I don't equate major hit with Clubhouse, but do you mean like?
I mean that Paul is partnered with an AI company to give them the voice, and Paul can, with this company, they can license our voices to do anything. They can repurpose it in any way they wish. It's part of the terms of service.
I see enough on here to even get noticed from Paul or those guys.
This is why they wanted the voice chat stuff, the voicemails, so they could isolate and make sure they had a fingerprint, so they could know exactly whose voice was whose.
Yeah, Freddie Roosevelt and I did a room about a year ago or so. I'm sure some of y'all remember Freddie Roosevelt. And we talked about just that, using our voice and likeness on this app, because Freddie, when he was really active on this app, I had noted, Freddie, you have very specific lingo and slang, and he was commenting on how he would dip in and out of rooms, primarily white rooms, hosted by people who he never saw in his spaces, or at the very least, he didn't know that they frequented his spaces. And he would go in their rooms and hear them repeating his slangs and his slogans, but at the same time giving him credit. And I said, yeah, Freddie, don't be surprised one day if you're perusing the internet and you come across some AI model that was designed in your name, likeness, and image and is speaking like you, using some of your catchphrases, because that is why this app is a social experiment, in my opinion, as we, most of us have discussed, in these spaces and similar spaces, to use our voices to, study our voices to train AI models. So, yeah, Mojo, I agree with that.
Where did you guys fall on the writer's strike?
Oh boy, go ahead.
I'm a weirdo. I feel there should be no AI at all in creative writing. I think it's okay for reporting. I I don't know if you guys noticed, but when you go to your streams, your news streams, whatever, on your phones or laptops, like it'll say story by, and they'll put someone's name, but if you actually, I've just been noticing far more grammatical errors in these stories. I think less and less of them are actually really being written by humans. I think there's just giving AI ChatGPT notes of the story and take it from there.
So this is my take on the whole writer's strike thing, is that if you're not a better writer than artificial intelligence, then you don't get the job. If I were looking for a story, if I wanted a screenplay to make a film out of, if you're a screenwriter and you can't write a better screenplay than AI, I think AI should take your job. Like, it should. In fact, I think it would be immoral to give the nod to the human if AI wrote the better story. Currently, we don't have that problem, despite how bad some of the writing is today. I think we're at an all-time low in terms of the writing of screenplay. Well, actually, I take that back. I think that there's great writers out there. In fact, I know there's great writers out there that just can't find the funding to do their projects. But if you can't sell the idea, and if the folks that are going to put the money behind the movie don't believe it's going to sell, they can be guilty of being wrong, but you need their money, and so you need to do a better job of selling that. And so I just think that because money is show business. It's a business. They want to make money. And as long as they're going to do that, I think this trend of going for existing IP where you have a built-in audience is going to continue. And the only way I see writers cracking into that would be through fan fiction, because you're going to see people continuing to go after existing IP. It's a vicious cycle, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I tested this theory one day. I've been working on the script for a while, and I plugged in the outline to ChatGPT, and I asked ChatGPT. Now, I had already written the first act, but I asked ChatGPT to, after I fed the outline to it, I asked it to write the first maybe 10 pages, just to see, compare its dialogue to my dialogue, and it was incredibly weak. What the prompt gave me, right? And so, of course, I've been in spaces where writers brag about, they love ChatGPT, it writes scripts for them, and then I'm wondering, how much do you have to go in there and tweak the script? Do you rely solely on what ChatGPT gave you? Or do you go in and tweak the script and the dialogue? Because, what I found is when ChatGPT spit out the first 10 pages, all the characters sound exactly alike. Then the argument is, okay, so ChatGPT writes your script. Do you take credit for it, or do you credit the AI? Now, I will say as a writer, I do find ChatGPT or some of these other, Grok or Gemini, helpful in kind of streamlining outlines or beats, or even writing pitch decks, right? Kind of fleshing things out. But writing the full story or the full script, I agree, if you're not talented or creative enough to fully execute a 90-page or 160-page story, you're right. I agree. You don't get the job if I were a producer, hire a writer.
Agree, but I think that's a problem considering I enjoy some screenwriting too, but it's fair to say that 10, which may not be exciting incident, right, is typically the first 10, 20 pages, one page of scripts is translates to like a minute of action more or less on the screen. So if
fallen off over the years. I'm really hoping that the studio or writer or producer owns the IP revives you. In the meantime, I went to ChatGPT. I have like 3 or 4 ideas to continue the franchise. And I'm hoping through my resources and connections, I can get linked to whoever owns this IP to pitch them my idea to the franchise. So I did plug in just, a long line or 2 into ChatGPT and asked it to flesh out what the next 5 films would look like. And I was thoroughly impressed with what it gave me because it was right on par with how I envisioned the franchise continuing. So in that regard, I found ChatGPT to be quite, satisfying as a creator. And, I am confident in saying what it gave me, and I added it to my kind of little collection of franchises that I want to see continue. So I've been putting out to the universe, and I have two visions here. One, to write at least 1 episode for Doctor Who, which I have a pilot for. Well, not necessarily a pilot, maybe a pilot for a new season. And to be involved with, hopefully, the continuation of Q. So we shall see if ChatGPT, in that regard, brings me some luck.
Amazing. What about the thread? Isn't there like college students that started writing papers using ChatGPT, law students, how to use things like write things using ChatGPT.
Within 60 seconds of chillism. Now, I think at some point you have to have some self-reflection. Is it perfect to ignore it and to listen to this conversation? Is it
Prompts like write it at a PhD level. Okay, now rewrite it at a PhD level. Now rewrite it, and you can start doing edits and rewrites, and then eventually what will happen is you can get it so far removed from what its original, AI instincts were, and you can even give it examples of in the voice of, write it the way Andrew Dice Clay would write it, right? The way that Shakespeare would write it.
60 seconds.
And when you start doing that and playing with it, I think you can probably have to see some of these lectures and things, and pick up to listen to these meetings. I think we have trouble picking that up. Most people are just lazy. They're just going to put in a prompt or whatever it spits out. The one that's pretty obvious is if you go to ChatGPT, it really likes, it doesn't like commas as much as it likes dashes. And so when you see the double dash, you see it like that is a telltale sign that because nobody writes like that. Nobody on planet Earth writes like that. It's almost like they bake that in. It's like a first line of defense to be able to see if somebody used ChatGPT or not.
That's interesting. So I noticed even like when you put it typing in the chat here on Clubhouse or in the email, where let's face it, like autocorrect is was like ChatGPT and diapers. With all the word suggestion, like you start typing like, hey, like Google started this, right? You get a message, you get an email from somebody. Google is reading the email message because it's offering you prompt, it's offering you a variety of prompts to just choose instead of having to actually use your own brain and use your own words. It'll be like, yeah, sounds great, thumbs up, or oh, sorry to hear that. But I've also noticed the one thing that stands out autocorrect is commas and calling you out when you're not using commas appropriately. But that's probably the least, or at least.
Yeah, so one of the outlets that I write for, we have a problem with AI. There it is definitely our IT team. So this, my lawyer for the company has said there's nothing we can do. There is some sort of AI system being used by a company, and I think they traced it to Russia or Ukraine. I'm not writing it as if I write for them. And my managing editor is furious, but there's absolutely nothing we can do about it. And it is an AI, it's not a human that is pulling the article and copying and pasting and republishing. No, we have determined that it is some sort of AI system that is scouring our site and pulling some of the best stories. And they just so happen to be most of my stories, since I'm the one that covers the entertainment news for the site. And so, yeah, it's pretty, I don't know. It's, dare I say, disturbing, but I guess this is what we have to deal with in this AI world, you know, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Invitation's the highest form of flattery, but that's creepy.
So let me ask a question. Some of you are very concerned about AI. I'm just wondering, you know, if you think we're already living in anarchy, I mean, is it, you know, the person on the highway, expressway, you know, who shoots you, or the person that stabs you on the train, or, you know, what's more dangerous, society today in America or AI?
I think AI could be, I mean, AI as it stands right now is not dangerous, with the exception of some of these debates, because it's getting hard to discern what's real and what's not real, especially if these debates are used to damage someone's reputation or image. But I would like to think that the population is aware, especially if you're on the computer a lot, you know, you're aware of AI and debates. I would like to think that people are able to use some kind of deductive skills to determine what's real and what's not. But as AI gets more savvy, it might get difficult to figure out what's real and fake, especially as it relates to news sources, right? And Healthy Debates earlier today, someone noted, you know, what if in the near future there's a presidential campaign and someone uses a deep fake to destroy the image or reputation or the campaign of a presidential candidate they don't like, and it really impacts their voter base, or how the population, you know, resonates with that candidate. So that can definitely be dangerous.
And I don't know why you're talking about this in the future. I mean, our president held up a deep fake with MS-13 and deported a person with it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
This is
We also had a former president arrested by the FBI.
So I don't know, John. I mean, I don't think it's as dangerous now. I still think the person on the subway with the gun or the knife is more dangerous than AI. But I predict as AI advances, and you know, as these language models get more evolved, then yeah, I can see us living in a future, in a near future, where the AI could be more dangerous than the criminal on the street ready to snatch you up.
I mean, in Chicago this weekend, 30 people were murdered by gunfire, 250 shot. It's like that every weekend. Why, as a society, do we tolerate that?
How do we not?
You could apprehend criminals. Yeah, I blame our politicians, John. I think we just need to, like, better officials. Listen, I live in Chicago, too. And the mayor down there, well, I live outside of Chicago, so the mayor down there, as you know, is just a disaster. So, in my opinion, it's just we have to elect better officials. And a lot of these liberals, I mean, look at California, for instance. I lived there for 20 years, but I got the hell out just at the time. California has this, I don't know if it's still like this, but in some areas of California, you own a store, you just have to let them snatch and grab. You can't stop them, you can't apprehend them for stealing your shit, let them go. I remember that video that went viral where a store owner confronted Gabby Newsom about these laws. He gave kind of a laissez-faire attitude about it. A lot of these Democratic run cities, they want criminals on the street. They want to let them out of jail early. You know, you can't afford bail, oh, no problem, just let them back on the street, right? So I think it really comes down to the elected officials. They want lawlessness, they want criminals on the street, they want the people to be, you know, armed, and then they want to threaten to take their guns away. So I blame the politicians, sir. I don't think the people
Got it.
want this.
So if Donald Trump takes over Washington D.C., you're all for that, correct?
I mean, well, what do you mean take over? He's the president.
I'm saying that he gets rid of the mayor and he takes over the city security-wise. There's no more lawlessness. There's no more rampant homelessness. No more drug dealing. No more shootings. No more robberies. You know, he actually forms a security perimeter and takes care of the situation with force.
Yeah, I would have no problem with that.
And I hear your frustration there, but I have to push back because, so yeah, the mayor, generally most police chiefs, right, have one boss, it's the mayor. But the mayor, of course, doesn't make any of the law. In fact, it's actually far more up to the DAs that make laws, but they're the arbiter of enforcing what laws and what cases to pursue or not. Again, back to California, which is why even Bleeding Liberal Heart, San Francisco pulled their DA, did a recall because of the frustrations of the smash and grabs and such. So it's a bit hyperbolic to say like, oh, all these lefts, runs, mayoral cities that are leaving left are all for Wild Wild West and like, everyone treats